Oh, okay, great. Andrew's connected to audio. Great. Andrew, you can hear us, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Solid. That worked great. That's exactly what I wanted to see. All right, well, I'm gonna screen share here. Everyone can see this, right? Okay.
It looks
Let's
like
see
you're
if
in
I
Lincoln.
can let's see if I can teach like this today. With the PowerPoint full screened. I know some of you guys don't like the fact that I typically teach without the full screen on, so I will be I will be oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh boy, go back. I will be teaching today with the full screen on. Oh, I don't know, like, oh, there's a pen here. Oh, well, that's cool. Okay. So I will also have a pen to assist me with teaching.
PowerPoint
Um,
also has highlighter and laser pointer.
Highlighter and laser pointer. Hold on. Let me go to the laser pointer here.
Yeah, what is it's yeah.
Ah, that's very cool. Now you can see my cursor and everything. Very cool. Um, all right. Well, today we're talking about Röntgen. Um, Röntgen is a very famous name in in life sciences and biology, and he's credited with discovering X-rays. If you guys compete in perhaps academic competitions in the future, you will definitely hear his name again. A lot of questions will be like, name the founder of X-rays, and you will say Röntgen. His full name is Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, but we will just refer to him as Röntgen for today.
How do you type out the fancy O?
The O. Oh,
Yeah.
this O, you can typically just go on Google and find it.
Uh,
Yeah, it's just look for Röntgen's name and it will give you the correct way to put this O in. And this is the correct kind of O for his name. But yes, Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen.
Can you copy it and paste it?
Can I copy it and paste it? Yes, I will do that. Let me switch back to my cursor here. Oh boy. Hold on, wait. As you can see, I'm amazing with technology here. Ah, here we go. Okay, that's not what I wanted here. Wait, hold on. Wait, okay, there we go. All right, I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna put it in the chat. That's what it looks like. It kind of looks like a face if you guys notice that. All right, well, anyways, let's talk about X-rays and let me switch back to the laser pointer so I can click around freely on the screen. Right, so X-rays are high energy electromagnetic radiation. And hold on, I need to close the chat box. There we go. Okay. So high energy electromagnetic radiation. High energy means that it has very short wavelengths, or it is basically very high energy. If you look at this first colorful photo right here, notice how this is kind of a spectrum of different kinds of radiation. You have, hold on, let me switch to my cursor. This is getting frustrating. All right. You have your radio kind of radiation, which is very small energy, which means it has very large wavelengths. And then you have your microwave, and then you have your infrared, and you have your UV, X-ray, and gamma. So typically anything on this side, to the left side of the visible light, so if I say infrared, microwave, radio, these are all very safe kinds of radiation. I know that people tell you that you don't want to stand next to microwaves, but I'm sure your parents tell you that you shouldn't stand next to the microwave, but yeah, you shouldn't stand next to it like your entire life. But generally, microwaves are relatively safe, but you definitely don't want to stand next to UV light your entire life
My
because
parents tell me not to stand next to the microwave because once they put in a bowl, it exploded and it shattered across the entire kitchen.
yeah, that can happen too. And that kind of thing is definitely dangerous, but you definitely don't want to be next to gamma rays or UV rays. UV rays are the rays emitted by the sun, and this can
What are
actually
gamma rays?
gamma rays are a type of very high energy wavelength. You see these like kind of lines here?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are squiggly lines basically. And the more squiggly they are, or like the more condensed the squiggles are, then the higher energy it is. So you can notice how UV has kind of more squiggles than if you look at microwave, right? Or even radio. Radio is basically a straight line at this point, or at least in this depiction.
So
But
radio
gamma
like
rays,
so radio's like very safe.
yes, radio waves are pretty safe to humans, but gamma
Radio
rays,
is safer than visible light.
yes, radio waves are definitely safer than visible light. But if you're around gamma rays all day, that's certainly dangerous. And the same with X-rays. X-rays are, if you're around X-rays your entire life, I mean, if you're constantly X-raying your body, that could definitely be an issue. Um, but very small doses, like if you go in for an X-ray, um, like like once a year, it's no issue. You guys don't have to worry about that. Or even like 5 times a year, there's no issue. As long as you're like not eating X-rays, it's fine. Um,
How can you eat an X-ray?
I just mean like if you're constantly around X-rays, that's an
Oh,
issue. But yeah, you definitely can't eat. Oh my, you definitely can't eat electromagnetic radiation, but there are some kinds that can be slightly dangerous. And these X-rays, remember that this is a kind of light. It's not something that we can touch physically. And so they pass through most objects, including some parts of the human body. And we'll talk about which parts the X-ray passes through and which parts the X-ray doesn't pass through. Um, and we'll come back to this photo, by the way. Actually, I'll talk about this right now. So X-rays, they don't pass through bones. So you can see that you can see that bones, they block radiation, and so they appear white in an X-ray. However, muscle and fats in the body, as well as fluids, radiation passes through those, and so they appear kind of white, or I mean, sorry, gray. The bones appear white, and
well,
anything that has like space in it, like blank space, this will appear black. So if you have a broken bone, it will appear black. Any questions here?
You mean like more translucent, right?
Yes, more yeah, more translucent. Yes, translucent is the right word. It will appear more clear, these muscles and
uh,
fats.
why do
Um,
why do bones like block it but not the muscles? I mean like the muscles are still solid.
Yeah, the muscles are solid, but the thing is, in your bones, you have calcium, which actually kind of absorbs the X-ray. And so it blocks the X-ray from passing through. And so, however, your muscles don't have those same kinds of minerals. And so the X-rays, they pass through your muscles. Imagine if you had like calcium in your muscles, they'd be hard and you wouldn't be able to move.
I barely have any muscles.
I mean, you guys are still young, so it's fine. All right, any questions here, anyone? Yes, Addison has a question. Can't loud radios break something in your ear? Yes, that is when you blast music very loudly to the point where it actually perforates your eardrums. That is different. That's not the radiation. I mean, sorry, that's not necessarily the radiation that's breaking your eardrums. It's just the fact that it's super loud. And so if you're listening to a radio, you definitely should not have it super loud. Um, I'm liking these drawings, you guys. All right, any questions? Anyone? Here, I can
You can like disable the like
yep.
annotate.
Yeah, I disabled them. Hold on, let me this is not what I wanted. Let me hold on. Let me clear these annotations. Give me a second. All right, great. Is this okay with everyone? Everyone's comfortable. Solid. That's what I like to see. All right.
I still have annotating for some reason and I can't get rid of it.
Okay, well, just don't draw on it and we're
No,
good.
it's like my cursor is still a pen shape.
Oh, well, I think that just might be a bug with Zoom. I'm not sure. Okay, let me grab a sip of water. It's actually soy milk, not water. All right. But
Coconut water?
it's no, it's soy. It's soy milk.
Oh, did that taste good?
It's all right. It's pretty healthy. So yeah, I typically go through like a couple of cartons a day. I drink a lot of milk. All right, but let's talk about how the X-rays work. Oh my God, there are 10 things in the chat.
I had a class on Wednesday, and there were more than 300 things in the chat because this
Damn.
very annoying kid was typing no in the chat.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, let's try to avoid like destroying the chat, okay? It's a pain if I have to go through the chat and it's all just like gibberish. Okay. But oh my, I need to stop doing that. All right, but there are a couple steps as to how X-rays work. There are two things in this kind of X-ray machine. If I show you, hold on. Let me stop my screen share, and I probably should have put this on the PowerPoint, but everyone kind of has an idea of what an X-ray machine looks like, right? Let me show you here. All right, here. Where are you guys? All right, let me share my screen here. All right, why are there 41 messages in the chat, guys? All right, look, so this is your kind of standard X-ray machine. And
When I was at the dentist, they used the thing that kind of looked like that and took a X-ray of my tooth and showed a cavity.
oh yes, right. But this is kind of your standard X-ray machine, and I'm only going to focus on this kind of part of the X-ray machine. So think about this, and I'm going to show you a kind of diagram in this little like I'm going to call this the head of the X-ray. So this little guy, it's the head of the X-ray. Let me stop my screen share and reshare the PowerPoint here.
You know those weird videos, those babyish videos. It shows like it shows an X-rays like this screen, and then it's a picture of you.
What? Something about a screen and an X-ray and a baby picture?
Right.
It's just like those babyish videos where a person just puts a rectangle in front of their bodies and it just shows bones.
Yeah.
Like the picture you showed us in the last slide.
So something like this. Where's my cursor? Something like this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I know what you're talking about. It's basically like a little kitty filter. But regardless, this is kind of a diagram of the head of the X-ray. And so what happens is this is something we call the cathode. And if you guys take chemistry, you'll learn about the cathode and in like electrovoltaic cells and whatnot. And like blah blah blah, the cathode is reduction, I believe. And but the point is that that's not important. What's important is that this is the cathode, and when heated, when we heat the cathode, it releases electrons. And electrons, oh, I'm so sorry. Everyone knows that electrons are negatively charged, correct? Okay, great. And something that is negatively charged will attract to something that is positively charged. Everyone in agreement? Okay, great. So no questions about that, solid. These electrons that are released when we heat the cathode, these electrons will actually go to the anode. And they go to the anode because the anode is positively charged. So the negatively charged electrons are attracted to the anode. And if you look at this diagram, we can see these electrons hitting the anode. Is everyone okay with that? Great. And in this diagram, we can see that the electrons are slamming into the anode, and it creates this kind of red spot. Do you guys see this red spot? Great. And so there is a beam of electrons traveling from the cathode to the anode, and these electrons are slamming into the anode. And so this beam of electrons is creating a kind of heat force that is heating up the anode. So the place that these electrons slam into the anode, this is getting very hot. And when these electrons slam into the anode, it releases heat as well as X-ray photons. The heat is not depicted here, but these purple lines that are coming off the anode, those are your X-ray photons. This is what will travel through your body during the X-ray. This is also the oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Give me a second here. These purple kind of frequency lines, these guys are oh my. These purple frequency lines, these are these are the same wavelength as your X-ray on this photo that I showed you. And so these guys are the same thing. But
Wait,
mhm.
but isn't the UV purple?
Yeah, remember that these are different drawings, Daniel. And just because that this drawing is purple doesn't necessarily mean that the purple on this drawing will be the same. It's the naming. You see how this is X-ray? This also says X-ray. And so that's how we know they're the same thing. The color doesn't matter, Daniel. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know typically you guys like to color code your things and whatnot, but unfortunately that's just the way that this is drawn. We know that these are the same because this says X-ray and this also says X-ray. But what happens is, if you can imagine, all of these electrons are slamming into the anode, right? And it creates this electron beam. And what do you think is happening here? Do you think this is getting very hot or very cold?
Hot.
Yes, exactly. It is.
It's
This electron beam.
it's kind of sus when you say it's getting hot.
Okay, you guys are too young for that. Oh my God. Okay, you guys aren't you guys like 8 years old? Okay, whatever. But point is, it's really heating up here, and so what we don't want to happen is the anode melting, because this electron beam is slamming into the anode and it's heating up the anode so much, the anode can actually melt, which is really bad. If the anode melts, well, then we have issues. And so what happens is the anode actually spins. Do you guys see that? How these arrows, they depict the spinning of the anode? It basically rotates.
What do you mean by issues?
I mean, the thing is, if the anode melts, it creates, number one, a hole right here. And so the electron beam shoots off into like space, and then it could like ignite something on fire. And so there's nothing blocking the electron beam. There's nothing there to absorb it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. And so the anode, it has to rotate. And as the anode rotates, the spot where the electron beam hits, it goes around. And so the anode is given time to cool off. Does that make sense? Is that okay with you guys? All right, great. And so the anode, it rotates and it cools off. That's how it avoids melting. But these X-ray photons that I mentioned earlier, these are your X-rays, and they will pass through your flesh, but they do not pass through the bone. So, they go through your biceps, your triceps, your chest, your face, but they don't go through your skull. They don't go through your femur. They don't go through, they point is they don't go through your bones. But I'm so sorry. But the photons that do pass through, that do pass through your flesh and your fluid and your fat, those are detected by a sensor, and that sensor picks up those photons and it creates a digital image of what it sees. And so that is how the X-ray works. Is that okay with you guys? Great, solid. This is actually going to be the last slide here. And this is going, oh, I'm so sorry. This is going to be the easiest slide out of all. All it's saying is that in hospitals, doctors use X-rays to diagnose fractures and diagnose dislocations and diagnose bone or joint conditions and diagnose broken bones, and they can detect foreign objects, and they can even be used as surgical tools. This is the first ever photo taken by a X-ray. This is actually Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen's wife. It's her hand with their wedding ring on it. This is her left hand and it's on her ring finger. So that's how we know it's her wedding ring, or at least it's likely her wedding ring. But yes, this is Wilhelm Conrad's wife's hand.
Why is like this part, like the blackish part, black? Did she break that part? Is it all shattered to pieces?
So remember that this photo was taken in 1896.
Oh yeah.
And so this number one, this photo is a really basic X-ray. Nowadays our X-rays are much more refined, but also, sorry, excuse me. But also her bone density here is much more dense, for lack of a better term. Her fingers are, I mean, if you look at your fingers, they're very thin compared to like the kind of center or palm of your hand, right? And so there are possibly X-ray photons passing through her fingers, or at least very little amounts of X-ray photons passing through her fingers because they are so thin. But because the palm of her hand is so dense, and bone, and like just there's a lot of bone there, it's likely that these X-ray photons do not pass through here. And the dose of, oh my, the dose of radiation given by X-rays is considered safe. And it's about the same that you would receive from the general environment in about 1 week. So as long as you're not constantly around X-rays, as long as you're not constantly having to go to the hospital and get X-rays, if you need X-rays perhaps like 2 times a year because you accidentally break a bone or because you accidentally like fracture your elbow, fracture your forearm or something, that is completely fine. So you guys don't have to worry about that. This last picture I found on Google, and it's actually really interesting because this on the left hand side, this is a healthy lung. It says I can't zoom in here, which is unfortunate, but this is your healthy lung and this is your smoker's lung. If you look inside, you can see that the X-ray is actually picking up kind of these whitish foreign particles here.
I see like some white dots in there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's an unhealthy smoker's lung. And that's why you shouldn't smoke. It's dangerous.
Why is like the parts down there and the spine part kind of looks like it's gay? Like it looks like it's very fat.
Remember that these are 2 different people.
Oh.
Yeah, these are 2 different people. This person might be perhaps slightly thinner, but this might also be because there are because this person's lungs have shrunk from smoking, and so something has pushed up in the body. I'm not exactly sure necessarily what this is, and I don't want to feed you guys false information. But I think,
but wait. But like the bone, you can still see can you turn on annotation for just a second?
yep. Go ahead.
So it's like right here you can still see this, meaning it's like probably hasn't shrunk because well wait, those are ribs, never mind.
These kind of like faint images, these are the person's ribs. But definitely this person's lung is much more unhealthy compared to this
Why
person.
are these like faded?
Why are what faded?
Like right here.
Um, this is probably this is probably some kind of because when you smoke, your lungs actually have you guys seen a smoker's lung?
Nope. I just all I see
I
is
just
the
know
smoke
like
smoking.
a smoker's lung, it's like it goes black, right?
Yes, a smoker's lung
Oh
is
yeah, yes. I thought you
um
meant the inside.
yes, but a smoker's lung is horrible to look at because it has
It's like
turned black.
cracky.
Yeah, naturally
It's
our
like
lungs are supposed
this.
to be this kind of pink
Yes.
rosy color.
Cracky. Wait, like this.
Yeah.
Yes, cracky looks disgusting.
But notice here how this person also has this kind of
Yeah.
yeah. So this we can see is probably natural. I'm not actually sure what this is. I'm hesitant to tell you. This is probably some kind of organ within the human body though. And so that's not the issue here. The
There's
thing
no
is,
organ that's shaped like that that's in your chest.
this is actually slightly below your chest.
Oh, well, it's
But
below your chest then.
actually,
It might be an overlarge kidney that got enlarged for detail.
uh maybe I think
Yeah,
these
it
are
could be wrong.
yeah. I To be honest, I'm not sure what this is, but
I think
that's
it's wrong. I think
it's
it's wrong.
it could be a lung. It might not be a lung. Hold on. All right. Let's just yeah, stop that, and then I can clear all these annotations. Great. But the point is that if you look here, oh, did my laptop just crash? Okay, no, we're good. The point is to notice that that these lungs, they are much more unhealthy. They are darkened and there are clearly foreign particles in those lungs. Okay. Any questions, anybody? There's a question here um, that says her entire hand is black. So does that mean her entire hand is broken? No, that this is only remember that this is a very old photo. It has been over 100 years since this photo was taken. And so over time, our X-ray technology has developed much further past this. Her hand is completely fine. Nowadays, our X-ray technology shows broken bones as black. But back then, this was likely a very okay hand. So technology changes over time. Okay, well, if you guys have no
Wait,
questions,
but well, about the ring, like, why does the ring look like at the top? It looks like it's a piece of brown, like blackish brown clay.
it's a piece of blackish brown clay.
And
It's like thick.
It,
Rings
it,
are thick.
it looks thick compared to her fingers.
Like it compares to what an actual ring will look like
Um,
because they aren't.
no, it's because the bones inside. Because when you put on like the other stuff in like your fingers, then it just gets thicker.
exactly. Yes, Jacob is correct. This ring looks thick around her finger because we can only see the bone. Her
Oh
actual
yeah.
her hold on, let me draw this on perhaps. Her
Oh
actual
yeah.
finger will look something like this. Yeah, her actual finger will look much more chubbier, and I'll even draw the fingernail on for for reference. But this ring should actually sit pretty well on her finger. It's only because we see the bone that the ring looks very thick compared to her finger. But in reality, that ring definitely fits perfectly fine. Is that okay?
Yeah, also why is the ring black? If like the background is like white, even though it should be black, but why is the ring black?
Okay, so remember that the first thing that we need to okay, so just remember that the first thing that is important is that technology has changed a lot over time. Nowadays, we see black as being broken, as bad. But back then, black would have been completely fine. Guys, remember that this photo is from 1896 or sometime in the 1890s. So this photo is very, very old.
But if black means like it's fine, then why are her fingers white?
Remember that her fingers are very thin compared to like the center of her hand, and they might not absorb a lot of the X-ray photons. And so that's perhaps why they're a little grayed out looking. Please remember that this photo is very, very old. This is the first photo taken by an X-ray. And so if there are issues and there are imperfections, that could also just be human error. Machines are not perfect all of the time, and this is like the first of its kind. So we shouldn't place our hopes too highly on this. But anyways, any questions, anybody? No? Okay, great. So I'm gonna stop my screen share. Those of you who want to play a Bookit can leave and rejoin. We are running out of meeting time here, so unfortunately, you guys are going to have to leave and rejoin. I will end the meeting and then I will restart.
There are 3 minutes now.
Yes, there are 3 minutes left. Derek, did you have a question? Caitlin? Okay. Derek is frozen. So Derek, if you have a question, just remember it. And when we come back into the meeting, you can ask me it.
Just end the meeting.
Yes, I'm going to end the meeting.